Hey, good afternoon, everyone. This is Mark from Right Line Trading. Thanks so much for giving me your time. Um, a lot of traders are still coming in, but it's 4 o'clock, so we're gonna start on time. Um, just the mandatory disclaimer that all signals and trading opportunities provided, both orally written or electronically, that are disclosed to visitors or subscribers are for educational demonstration purposes only. Right Line Trading takes no responsibility for any participation by visitors or subscribers within futures or Forex markets, nor for any profits or losses that may be incurred. Um, we are not registered financial advisors and not licensed commodity trading advisors. We suggest that you consult one before taking a trade, and obviously the potential for losses is always there. Now, just a little bit about myself. I'm a graduate of the University of Pennsylvania, former professor at Jefferson University in Philadelphia. I've published 15 peer-reviewed articles. You can still Google a lot of them under Sachs MK. And actually, I began trading the futures and Forex markets around 2004. And I've been involved in the optimization of software systems for close to the last 15 years. This is a little bit of an old slide that I just didn't have an opportunity to modify. But what I want to talk to you today about is the NDT-Trade execution platform. Now, it took us a year to create. We had to go through many versions of it. We infringed on someone's patent, and we had to slice it up a little bit. And it really does have a patent pending. The patent pending has been pending for 2 years. We've undergone two modifications of the patent, and it's gone back to the patent office. And I really believe it takes a quantum leap forward in trade execution management. And you're going to see that it has configurable trade entries that you cannot take with any other platform. Now, obviously, 80% of the trade is getting in at the right time, but also excellent and precise trade execution is really a major component of getting a trade. It's not letting that optimum entry skip past you. And the dome also has the potential for not only minimizing slippage, but I can show you how to potentially eliminate slippage. Now, that elimination of slippage is going to come with some risk, but I'm going to show you how to format trades so that you cannot take slippage on the entry. Now, we were trading the NASDAQ in the last few days and really getting hurt by slippage. And a few months ago, we were trading the DAX, and the DAX moves like wildfire, and slippage was a major problem for us on the trades until we reconfigured them. It's real easy to use, and you're going to see how it works with Chart Trader and integrates with NinjaTrader real simply. Now I'm not going to go over the tech component or the installation component because we do that for you. If you decide that you want the platform, Sergio will do everything for you from start to finish. You don't have to worry about that. He'll show you how to hook your automated trade management strategies that are present on your dome into the NDT, and you can really dispense with the dome. The other thing I wanted to mention is that there's two kinds of domes for Ninja, and I'll show them to you. One is a static dome and one is a dynamic dome. And I don't know what you pay more for, but you pay an additional price to get the dome to not to jump around so much. And with this, you will not have, if you are paying that increased price, you're not going to have to do it anymore. Now, Ninja doesn't want me to say that, but that's just the fact of the matter. Now, when you're trading, it doesn't make any difference whether you're trading a tick chart, a time chart, a volume-based chart. one of the most difficult things is to execute a trade on the close of the candle. Now, if you take a trade intra-candle, this is, my personal opinion is that you're making a huge mistake, that the market expresses itself in each candle, and you have to wait to candle close before you take a trade. Now, we call it formation close because that's the way we had to word it for the patent. So you have to, because a formation can be a candle, it can be an open high-low close, it could be a line chart. So we don't necessarily call it a candle, we simply call it a formation. And when the market's moving really fast, you have to estimate where that close is going to be and get your buy stop in if you want to take your trade one tick above the close of a candle on a long, or one tick below the close of a candle on a short. And it can be a real rush for you to do that. And if you miss your optimal entry, it's going to cost you money. The same occurs if you want to trade a reversal candle or the break of a trend line. So the NDT platform really eliminates this problem, and I'm going to show you how to do it. The trade is formatted electronically well before the close of the formation, and the execution is instantaneous. The only variable that neither we can control nor anyone can control under normal circumstances is the potential for slippage in a rapid market. Or I'm going to show how you can do a unique trade configuration that can eliminate it. And I'm just going to move forward. And I'm not. Okay. Then I'm going to move out of the slides. What I really want to do is show you how it trades. Take this out. And I'm going to bring up the NDT. Here's one for crude, and here's one for the E-mini. Now, this is all our software. I thought the best thing to do was to display it using our software, although believe me, this will work on anything. Doesn't make any difference what kind of software or configurations you're using. What we're really looking at here is getting an entry. Now, crude oil is moving a little. Actually, what we have here is we're on a demo feed. This is not the live market because we want to be able to control the direction. So why don't we set this for a mild down close? Now, obviously, you can buy immediately. Let me just put it right here. If you want to just execute a buy, order filled, and your order is filled. And I always make money when I'm just practicing. So there's your buy. And if you want to close the trade, or target filled, just hit close. And you can always sell anytime you like. Order filled. And it displays your entry, your stop, and all of your targets. And we're going to close. Or target filled. Now, here is where the more advanced settings come in. Now, we're trading Unirenko, and we have a range maker. So we know that this candle is going to close at 2701.25, and we want to take a short trade one tick below the close of this candle if it does close to the downside. And we're going to ensure that it does by just setting this to the downside just a bit. It's nice, but it won't go down. Here it goes. Now, we're going to sell a down close. Now, this sets up the entry automatically one tick below the close of the candle. Now, I don't have to be able to figure out anything. The system knows where the candle is going to close and it's going to set your sell stop right at the appropriate, and you've got an exact entry. And maybe we'll get a winner. So you don't have to track any of this. You don't have to track the sell stop, because sometimes on a Unirenko or on a Renko or on a range or a tick, that entry is going to change. You don't have to, there it goes. So you see it's got the trailing stop. This is all formatted into the NDT, and we format this for you. Now, you may have a different automatic trade management strategy, but this is mine. We're at a pivot. Now, remember, I'm setting this to close down, so obviously it's gonna work. I just want to show you how well it executes. Now we're gonna close the trade. Now the important thing here. Now, if we open up Chart Trader, you're going to see the amount of money we're making. But this is irrelevant. We're always going to get winners here because I'm formatting the direction of the trade. The important thing is that you don't have to track the close of the formation. It doesn't matter whether you're trading Renko, Unirenko here, Renko, time. Now, it's a lot tougher if I set this, if I move this from Unirenko and change this, say to tick. Now, let's say I wanted to trade a 377 tick. Let's format it that way. Let it load. Now you can't have a range maker, and you're not going to know exactly where the candle's going to close. If you want to run in and get your entry one tick below the close of the candle, you can't be sure where that candle's going to close on a tick. You can see that countdown as the ticks count off, but you can't be absolutely sure where you're going to get the close. Let's give it a second to load. We did make really nice money today in the room. We took 2 E-mini trades for over $400, and we were done real quick. If we would have traded on, okay, so here's tick. Now you can see the ticks counting down, but you don't know exactly where the candle is going to close. So all you have to do is hit sell on a down close.
Order filled.
And it knew that's where the close was going to be. So it executed the trade instantaneously without you could have never gotten that entry if you tried to get that entry by yourself. Now forget the fact that it's winning. We know that it's going to work. What I wanted to do is show you that you do not have to track the close and get your target in one tick below. So let's close it.
Order canceled.
Now the same thing is, and let's change the direction so it doesn't, let's move it up. Now the same thing is going to happen if you trade time. Even though you can estimate, we could trade a minute. And why don't let's just trade a 1 minute so we don't have a lot of time to wait. And let's just load 2 days. So let's try to load fast. Now we're going to get the patent. And when we do, these trade formations will only be able to be executed on this platform. Now, right now, there may be other traders doing it because we don't have a closed patent. We just have a patent pending. But we're on our 3rd submission after 2 revisions. And they didn't reject our patent. They just sent it back for revision and clarification. And when we do, these entries will not be able to be taken anyplace else. Now see, it's 4:15, so it's getting a little bit hard. But actually, we're on the data feed. So we're trading a a 1 minute. Now, on my chart, I don't have a minute counter. And I could put one on, but it's really irrelevant. We're going to buy an up close.
Order pending.
And you'll notice
Order filled.
you got the fill right at the close of this candle. Now, we should get a new candle here. No, it's all right. It's pushing up.
Target filled.
All right, you know what it is? It's just it's estimating the high and taking the trade. We would have to personally reconfigure it for you for a minute chart. But what it's going to do is it's going to take the entry one tick above the close of that particular minute.
Or target filled.
So let me just go back to the standard unit rank. What I want to do is show you some of the real, more sophisticated entries. Now, the most important ones are the simple ones. Are simply getting your entry really precisely without having to chase the entry. That's the most important thing. And if you want to fiddle with this, and hang on 1 second when it comes up, you just, it's just another barrier you have to getting a great trade. Now we have 160 people in our trading room, and almost every one of them use this because we have been trading the NASDAQ, which moves like lightning. Even the E-mini is moving fast. Crude has the potential to move very fast. And some of the best trades occur when the market's moving the fastest. If you have to run to your dome, which is right here, let me bring one up. Should come up in a second, right here. Now, if you have to run here and put in your buy stop or your sell stop, you're really at a disadvantage. So what we want to give you the ability to do is totally bypass this. Now, I want you to see one thing that's also important. And let me just change the candle width here so the trades are easier to see. And that is when you take a trade, I'm going to close it. I'm just going to hit a buy.
Order filled. Order pending.
Let me take that out. Whoops.
Order canceled.
Okay. All right, hang on. Let me close this. Okay.
Or target filled.
So you can fiddle with the dome. And the reason we're not projecting on the dome is because we have Chart Trader up. And Chart Trader shows us all our stops and targets. And if you want, you can modify any of these. Now, the reason our dots are not working is because we're on a simulated data feed. And these are looking at multiple markets. So they're not going to be the appropriate color on a sim data feed. Now, here is some of the more sophisticated entries. And let's take a look. It's unfortunate that the market's closed, that I wanted to show you how it behaves in a rapidly moving market. But I think I can do that. We're going to move it all the way up. So it's going to move as fast as it can. And it kind of I've watched how the sim data feed works. It kind of picks up speed like a freight train. So let's wait till it really starts to move. And then I'm going to show you some of the more sophisticated entries. Now, crude is really moving up pretty hard. And then I'm going to show you a really clever way that you can beat slippage. Now, I mean, buying up close
Order pending.
already, you know.
Order filled.
You got the entry one tick above, and you know it's going to go in your direction. Now, let's say you're trading. Let's say you're trading a really, really fast market, and you're concerned about slippage. And let's move to crude. Here's what you can do. You can take the NDT and you can format a one tick pullback so that in order to get executed, and usually the natural harmonic of most markets allow usually after the entry, especially on crude. I mean, when we get an entry on crude, it usually pulls back a tick or two. Every now and then, it's going to plow through your entry and leave you in the dust. But if it plows through your entry, it always gives you the potential for giving you a tick or two of slippage. But if you configure a one tick pullback, it will then, instead of executing one tick above the close, it will trigger one tick above the close and fill you on a one tick pullback. So unless it pulls back a tick and fills you, you will not get the entry. Now, I hope that's clear. You've got to get a one tick pullback in order to get filled. And if it fires through your entry, and that's an entry you're likely to get slippage on, you're going to lose the trade. But it eliminates slippage. So you give something to take something. So let's say we're going to buy an up close. Now this is moving up kind of slow. I'm just going to reverse it because it's going to come down like a house on fire here. Once it falls, it's going to start to fall really quick. Now remember, you've got to get a one tick pullback in order to execute. Let's just wait for crude to start, and it's going to pick up speed, and it's going to start to ratchet down really hard. Here it goes. Now, you're going to sell a down close.
Order pending.
And you didn't get the pullback. So you did not get the entry. So maybe you got potential slippage or you didn't, but you configured a one tick pullback and you did not get it. So you're going to have to close the trade.
Order canceled.
So we'll try it one more time. We're going to sell a down close.
Order pending.
See, I have it set so hard to the downside, it won't give me
Order canceled.
Let's set it to the middle, which gives us more of the natural harmonic on the market. And we're still going to sell a down close. And we're just going to set a little more of a
order pending.
See, it's still skipping past us. We're still not getting that one tick pullback. So you're going to have to close it.
Order canceled.
And we're going to sell a down close again.
Order pending. Order filled.
See, that gave us the one tick pullback. Now what that does is it gives you a significant advantage on the trade. You didn't get the entry price you wanted. You got a one tick advantage. Now I have it set right in the middle, so it's going to chop around a little bit. But if you're in a strongly trending market and you want to totally negate the possibility of getting slippage, and on the NASDAQ, you can get 4 or 5 ticks of slippage, you're going to set that 1 tick pullback. And that'll, if that executes you get a tick advantage on the trade, and there's no way that you can get slippage on the trade because you have to get the pullback. Now, the simulated data feed, it's very difficult to reproduce real market movement, but it's very possible and it's likely. Now, for a long, long time, we only took a 1 tick pullback on the E-mini. It's totally up to you if you want to configure it. The E-mini will usually give you a 1 tick pullback and an execution. If you get it and your first target is say 6 ticks, you've got a significant advantage on the trade.
Order canceled.
Now also you can use it as a trailing stop. Now a lot of people, a lot of traders have very sophisticated trailing stops. But what I found is that the best trailing stop, for me at least, is a reversal candle. So let's say we're moving down. We're going to sell a down close. Let's wait for it to hit. We already know our entry's 39 if it's precise and it's set by the system.
Order pending.
Oops, I have the pullback in. Let me get rid of that. I'm sorry. Let me close the trade.
Order canceled.
And get rid of the pullback. So let's take the next sell.
Order pending.
So there's our entry. It's at 33.
Order filled.
And we're filled exactly at 33. Now let's let the trade move down a little bit for us. Now, where's the best place to get out? We're gonna close on an up close, and it's gonna sit and wait for the market to reverse. And as long as you keep getting down closes, it's going to drag your stop down and continue to give you targets. But it's a great way of negotiating a stop. You can. This is what we have programmed in our automatic trade management strategy anyway. We have a trailing stop that only takes us out on a reversal candle, but it'll save you a lot of programming, because if you're taking a short trade, you simply hit close on an up close. If you're taking a long trade, you simply hit close on a down close, and you're good to go. And you see, it's going to, I have it set, so it's going to close to the upside, and it's going to take you out at the precise close
or target filled
of the up candle. And the importance really is the precision of the entries and the fact that you don't have to track them. Sometimes they change intra-candle. If they do, if you're trading range, they change. Obviously, this is the easiest way to determine the close, because the range maker tells you. But if you have time or tick, you don't know. But the system at the close of the candle is going to fire an entry faster than you can get it in. And there's no way you can go faster than this can. So you can format a reversal candle, and you can format a pullback. Now you can take a stop limit, you can take a stop, or you can take a market order on any execution. Now we always take a stop limit because we want to buy one tick above the close and sell one tick below the close. and get in significantly earlier than the candle is going to hit. Now, this is another sophisticated configuration that you can do. Now, let's say now that I don't trade this way, but there are traders who do. And what this allows you to do is to configure this. Let's say you don't want to close on a down close. What you want to do is you want to
Order pending.
sell a down close.
Order canceled.
See how the order's canceled every time it goes up? Now that's one of the strong features of it. If you're looking to sell on a down close,
order pending,
and you don't get the down close, a lot of times the trade doesn't mature. It's going to keep going. You don't have to go to the dome and cancel the trade manually.
Order canceled.
It's canceled. But let's say you want to trade a reversal. So what you do is you go in here and you put good till canceled. So now you're going to sell a down close and it's going to stay. And that down close is going to track your trade all the way up. So you don't have to keep moving the down close as price continues to rise. See how it's going to 99? Now it's 6.8, now it's 0.1. You're going to close on that down close and it's trailing your trade. And if you want to actually execute on the down close, you're going to get an exact down close without having to track where that down close is going to be. And that's the same for time, tick, Renko, range, or Unirenko. So now if I change the direction of the market on this good till canceled order, you're going to see your entry is going to be one tick below the close of the candle. Exactly.
Order filled.
There it is. There's your exact order without you having to chase it on the dome. So I'm going to close it.
Or target filled.
And now we're going to take out good till canceled. Because if we're looking for an up close and we get a down close, we want that trade to be canceled automatically. I mean, in the course of a trading session, I probably have 2 or 3 entries I enter that the system just cancels for me automatically. So I don't have to deal with it. Now, it can trade anything. I have it set for futures. It can trade stocks. It can trade Forex. Now, on Forex, and I don't have a Forex fee, but I know you'll be able to understand it easy, especially if you're a Forex trader. You have to take the price. The price you get is not going to be the bid or the ask. It's going to be the price. And there's a spread that you have to deal with. And the Forex has a lot of intra-candle wobble. And I can't recreate it because this is a demo feed. And the Forex right now is going to move really slow. And we're going to have a Forex trading room soon that's going to open at 2 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. The Forex moves really well, and so does the DAX, which we're going to have to work on slippage. The 6E moves great at 2 a.m. Eastern Daylight. But here's the thing that you can do with the Forex. Because of the intra-candle wobble, let's say that there's a 2 pip spread between the bid and the ask. Now, you optimally want to buy at the bid and you want to sell at the ask, but almost always you have to buy at the ask and you have to sell at the bid. I mean, the market tries to screw you and make you pay the spread. Now, because of the intra-candle wobble on the Forex, if you see that the spread on the trade is 1 pip, you can set that 1 pip pullback. And I can't recreate this on a demo feed because you just don't get natural market harmonic. But it really, intra-candle, there's a lot of wobble on crude. Even the E-mini, there's a lot of wobble. I mean, you get ticked in, but very few trades just run like a gun. Now they do on the NQ and they do on the DAX, but they don't on the E-mini and they do not on Forex in general. So if you want to buy at the bid and sell at the ask, just try to cut the pip spread by 1 pip and look for that 1 pip pullback on a short or a long trade. And it's going to provide you with a lot more money if you get a winner. Now, there's always, again, like you saw, there's always that small chance you won't get the pullback. But if the trade just skips by you, you have to kiss it goodbye. If you do get the pullback, excuse me, which you're very likely to do, especially on Forex, you're in at an extremely advantageous price because you're one of the few traders who are able to buy at the bid, and they want you to buy at the ask. So that's another trade configuration that you're only going to see on this execution platform. Now, in terms of setup, it's really simple. I only have it set up right now for the E-mini and setup for crude. You can set this up for 10 instruments. And when you hit save settings, when you open in the morning, it's really easy to do. All you do is just go to your strategies, and I only have 2 enabled. You can have 10 enabled. You just click, 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 click. They all pop up. And then you just hit. See, this is connected. I can disconnect, and then I can hit connect and connect. You're going to get a username and a password to connect. That's going to connect right to your dome, right here. And the lag time is essentially 0 because all the software that you need to take the trade is on your computer. Nothing goes through an external server. So the trade executions are really fast. If we look at the account, obviously the account performance is irrelevant because we took all winners, but it moves into the control center really quickly. And again, allows you to completely dump this, this ladder. Now, we had a ladder. This is just a little bit of history because I'm going to take questions really shortly. I'll show you our offer. We had a ladder just like this, and you could move your price on the ladder. But we got a letter that we were infringing on NinjaTrader's copyright and their patents. So we had to chop the ladder off. Or you would also have the ability to move your stops. But because of Chart Trader being, which you simply enable, you don't need it. Because you're going to buy an up close right here. Oops, it's the wrong instrument. Hang on 1 second. Let me just close it. If you're going to buy an up close on crude, oh, I see what the problem is. Hang on 1 second. I've got that 1 tick pull back in here. Let me get rid of that. Here's the buy and up close.
Order pending.
You see everything, and let's let it close, and it gives you the same ability to manipulate everything, just as if we had our dome and we didn't take it off. Because I'll show you how easy it is.
Order.
So let's say you want to take your first target and you want to move it down. You just click it, move it down. If you want to take your first target and move it up, you can just click it and move it up. And if you want to squeeze your stop, you can trail the stop manually. I don't recommend it. Just let your automatic trade management strategy do the work for you. But you still have the ability to play around with everything. without the dome. And I'll tell you, it's a lot nicer to do right off the chart than trying to chase. The easiest thing, the toughest thing is that precision entry, when that entry is either changing or unknown, like it is for time and tick. And on those trades, you're going to get an entry almost always one tick above the close on a long or one tick below the close on a short. Now let me close
Or
that out.
target filled.
Now the only other thing that I'm going to mention, because then I don't want to get into that tech, is that you just have to make sure, if you see right here, is that the same ATM strategy in your dome is dialed into here. And Sergio's going to do that for you. So you don't have to worry about any of the tech setup. It's really, you know what? To me, it isn't that simple. But to him, it really is. So he does the whole trade configuration for you. And once you do it, you can change the number of contracts, you can change the targets, you can change the trailing stop. You can do that real easily. The initial setup, though, is for me, is a little bit beyond my technical expertise, which is zilch. So I can't think of really anything else to tell you about it. That's really everything in a nutshell. Now, sometimes you want to just close the trade on a close of a candle. Now, I don't know why you would want to do that, but we had traders who asked us for this configuration. So no matter what, you have to be in a trade to hit it. But no matter what's going to happen, if the candle closes, it's going to close. Now, what I believe they want to do is if price comes right up to this pivot and it comes right to here, the closest candle that closes to the pivot, they're just going to close on it. They're just going to close on a close. They don't want to challenge the pivot. And the close on a down close is simply a trade you're going to take when you're going long and you want to get out on a reversal. And the close on an up close is when you're going short and you want to close on a reversal. And we use these all the time. Now, there's some Renko traders that will have one candle. Because all these configurations, we've sort of got a pole, and they'll buy or sell in the direction of that candle, depending on which direction it closes. So we actually have a button where you can buy or sell the candle depending on which way, on which direction. I never use this. I use the buy and up close, sell on a down close, and I use the trailing stop as the reversal. And for a long time, we've used that one tick pullback to get into a trade on the E-mini because of all of the wobble. Sometimes the E-mini will come back 2 ticks, sometimes 3 after your entry, and then zip in your direction. So it gives you a real trading advantage. So let me just show you our offer and bring up the slides. Here they are. Now, this is just technical stuff that we actually used on our patent, where we had to talk about formations, and it's irrelevant. Like a candle style is whether it's a box, a candlestick, a high-low, a line close, open, high-low close, and a type is range, Renko, tick time, volume, CAGI, and line break. So style plus type equals formation. And that's all patent lingo that's irrelevant to us. So here was when we had the dome, our own dome, and that's unfortunately been chopped off. So here's our offer. Now it's normally $1,500 lifetime. And we're going to offer it to you for $750 lifetime. And we're also going to give you a month in the live training room. And I'll tell you, it's going to make it up for you in precision entries. I mean, I rarely push a piece of software, but if you really are a professional trader and you really want to get precise entries, and the last thing you want to worry about is having to adjust your buy stop or your sell stop, this is a tremendously powerful tool for you to trade. And we do the whole configuration. You'll also come into the live trading room with me. And at times when the markets move fast, like if you're trading after crude inventory report, you have to be really careful, obviously. But if the market is rocking and you need to get a quick entry, you're just not going to get it manually. And some of those quick trades, like I said, are the best trades. When the market is moving really slowly and has low volatility and is just languishing, that's when you're going to get yourself a precision entry. And it's just not going to move very much. When you've got nice momentum moving in the market, that's when you're likely to get slippage or miss the entry. So that's the big advantage. And on crude, this is obviously not a live feed on crude. And I'm not going to disconnect and put the live feed in. But we didn't get any trades today, but we got a really nice winner yesterday. It was in a fast market. We didn't have to chase the entry. We knew what it was. I just pressed sell on a down close, and we were in, and that was the end. And that was the end of it. I let the ATM take it. I actually closed it at a pivot, and the trade went through the pivot and went another 2 or 3 ticks. I think we got 11, and the trade went 13. So it was a nice trade. So that's the system. If it was overly complex and it took me 3 hours to talk to you about, it would be too difficult. What you want to do is just be able to trade easily, not worry about your entries, try to minimize slippage. It will minimize slippage, because here's what's going to happen. At least this is what the market makers tell us. I always take what they say with a grain of salt, but hopefully they're being honest with us. And that is, if you're first in line on the trade, you're first to get executed on the trade. So when you see you want to take a trade to the upside, and you're going to take, like, let's say that's an entry, you're immediately going to hit the tool. And this is crude. And you're going to buy it up close.
Order pending.
And the trade is there. So it's already sitting, and the market makers can see it. And if there's a queue, you're early in the queue. And you don't have to fiddle around or worry anymore that this entry is going to change, especially if you're trading time or tick. It's going to give you a great approximation of where that close is going to be, and fire it in as soon as the candle closes. So in that regard, I do believe it minimizes slippage. Also, you can always take that pullback trade.
Order canceled.
It increases risk of not getting the trade, but if you do get the trade, you get a tremendous advantage. If you get 1 tick on the E-mini and your first target is 4 ticks, that's 25% more money that you're going to make on your first target, which is very, very nice money. So let me see what questions there are about the system. I think it's pretty straightforward, but hang on 1 sec. Okay, there's quite a few, so let me get that. Hold on 1 second here. Okay, let me drag it over. Okay, I think you can hear me now. Hiya, Robert. How you doing? Hey, Bob. How are you? The NDT is a strategy, Bob. It's not an indicator. And you're right. You're going to have to format a second chart for that, but that's something that Sergio does, and it will be available for the NT8 in 1 week. So it's available right now on NT7. If you purchase it, we will format you right after Monday. For NT8. So those are good questions and things I did not clarify. Okay, Robert. Sure, Robert. Here's the thing. Let's say that you want to execute one tick above the close. So the candle closed here. Let's take this. The candle closed here, and you wanted to take, let me put the trade here. The candle, let me set this flat, and you wanted to take a trade long right here. This is the wrong color. So you want to go long right here on that candle. Normally, what you're going to do is your entry is going to be right here. One tick above the close, right here. That's going to be your configured entry. Okay? Now, if you get the one tick pullback, what's going to happen when price comes to here? It's going to trigger the trade, but not execute the trade. And in order to get into the trade, it's got to come back. So here's your trigger, and your execution is one tick back right here. So you're going to get in here. Now you don't want to set your entry here because the candle hasn't closed yet. And if you set it here, you may get an entry, and then the candle may not ever finish. It may come all the way back down. So you got to wait till the candle closes, triggers the trade, and then comes back a tick. Now, as far as slippage is concerned, in a standard market on the E-mini, for instance, there's so much wobble internally that when you get a trigger, you're very often going to get a one tick pullback and an execution to give you a one tick advantage on the trade. Now, if the market's moving really, really fast, let's pick a different market, and we can take like the DAX. Now, I've had trades on the DAX that have given me 6 ticks of slippage. Yesterday, or the day before yesterday, I had a trade on the NQ that gave me 2 points of slippage. I mean, 8 ticks of slippage on any instrument is simply unacceptable. So what you can do is you can set that pullback. Now you probably won't get an execution when it moves through your entry like a steam engine, but you're also not going to get the slippage. Now, in a standard market where you do not have to, where the chance for slippage is minimal, you don't configure the pullback, you simply want to get in one tick above the close on a long or one tick below the close on a short. Supposedly, the traders who get executed first are the ones who get their trade in first, because there's a queue. And if you're trying to buy the market, but there's only a limited number of sellers at that price, not everyone's going to be able to get executed here. Some are going to get the next tick. Some are going to get the next tick. Some are going to get the next tick. That's slippage. But if you're in early, at least theoretically, you're in the front of the line. And being in the front of the line is very advantageous. And since you already know you're going to buy that up close, you just hit that
Order
button,
pending.
and there's the trade. So you've got that trade waiting, and you're probably in that queue way before most other traders. So the likelihood of getting slippage is minimized. So there are 2 ways: configuring the pullback on the risk you won't get it, and the market's going to run through the trade like a steam engine and leave you behind, in which case it may be okay. The other is this allows you to get your execution in early, be the first in the queue, and be one of the least likely traders to get slippage on the entry. And I hope that makes sense. Scott, you can't program it to close on 2 or more up closes or down closes. If you want it to close on 2 down closes, you really should format a bigger candle. I mean, what you want to do is you want to take a bigger risk on the trade. You don't want to take this risk. Like, let's say from here to here, you want to take the risk all the way back. And if you're going to take that larger amount of risk, you should probably just go for a bigger size candle, irrespective of whether it's time tick or rank up. But it's not going to close on the second one. We don't have that. We do not have that. I don't think it can be set for a bracket trade, although I believe Sergio would have to talk to you about that. For that, I do believe you need the dome. I don't think it can do a bracket trade. And I want to be honest with you, Greg. I don't believe so. I know exactly what a bracket is, and I don't think this will set a bracket for you. The reason I don't use the NT8, Hines, is because I'm going to move to NT8 as soon as the NDT-NT8 is ready, and that's next week. And then once the NT8 is ready, I'm going to move everything over to NT8. Just waiting for the NDT on NT8 to be ready. I'm not trading without this because I'm not moving to the dome. I'm as clumsy as hell, and sometimes I miss the button. I mean, I'm like Mr. Thumbs. So I'm not going to look for the entry here and set my sell stop. I didn't set it right, or my buy stop. I don't want to do it. So I'm going to stay on NT7 as soon as NDT is done, which is about 5 days. Then I'm going to move to NT8. Every single template we have is set on NT8. The NT8 platform is operational. Every indicator works on NT8. The only thing we don't have is the dome. I want that over there because we're going to be starting our auto trader soon, and I want that auto trader to be operational on NT8 too. So believe me, I have a huge commitment to NT8. Hines, we got 1 week for that. Sure, Dick. Let me put it in for you. Let me find out where it is. Rory, hey, Rory, can you just put the link in the room for me? No, over here, do it for me. Over here, do it for me. Hang on 1 second, and Rory will put the link in. Here. Hold on a sec. Okay, and while he's doing that, I'll answer more questions. Here's the link. I'm just going to copy and paste it. All right. I'm sorry. I got 1 second. I'm like Mr. Clumsy. Here it is. Okay. Where do I paste it?
To the chat.
Right here?
Send to all.
Just press this? Okay.
It's not really the chat. The chat is the questions. Hit this right here for a minute. Let me see the rest of it. Move this over.
Well, hang on 1 second.
Just hit that and paste it there.
Here?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then send
Okay. Now you should see the link.
in the chat.
If you don't, you're going to get it like 10 or 15 minutes after the webinar is over. So don't worry about that. You can run it on multiple PCs, Rianne. You can. You can run it on as many. I think we'll give you 2 licenses, so you can run it on 2 PCs if you like. Robert, you OCO is you know what? It's been so long since I saw OCO. You just have to spell it out for me. If that's good till canceled, you can make it a good till canceled order. Just let me know if that OCO is good till canceled. You know what, Rory? You know what, Larry? I have to go to my NDT to tell you, and I don't have the data feed hooked up. So I don't really know exactly what it is, and I don't want to give you a misnumber. And what we did for 3.5 years is we pasted our track record directly into our website. Our website's being rebuilt. So we're not, for the last couple of months, we haven't done that. And if I could bring it up in the dome, I would do it, but I don't have I don't have the feed. All I have here, and I'll show it to you. I'm not trying to obscure the question. All I have is the data for this feed, and this is not accurate. I can just tell you that today we made 400. Yesterday we made 500. I don't remember how we did on this is Thursday. I'm losing track of the days. I mean, we've had a good week. The week before we made $2,200. So, but I don't want to give you a monthly tally unless I can see the dome. No, Gene, this will work on a free demo of Ninja. As long as you have a data feed, this will work on it. Remember, if you're on a demo, it won't execute a trade live, but it will execute if you want a sim trade, paper trade, see how it works. It will work for you. When it takes the trade, it does not know whether you're connected to your broker or not. All it knows is it's got a signal and it's got a connection to your control panel, and it's going to put that trade in the control panel and project it up onto your charts. The large red and green dots are our newest indicator. Every time there's a potential cross of the 15 of the 50, I wanted to alert everybody, including myself, that that's a major event. And that's the only time we can trade long. We're going to trading rules here, but that's what those big dots are. That's the 15 cross 50. And that's when we can start taking a long trade on the cross. And here's where we can start taking a short trade on the cross to the downside. No, listen, Robert, I can never guarantee you're not going to get slippage. If I did that, I should be hauled off and a butterfly net put over my head. All I can tell you is that it's going to work to minimize slippage. And the way it does that is by getting you into the queue early, or by you configuring a 1-tick pullback before the order will be executed. You will get a better fill than if you do it manually. Because likely, if you do it manually, it's going to take you far more time than this. And remember, Robert, we're looking at a Unirenko where we can calculate before the candle closes where that close is. If you trade range or time or tick or time, you don't have any idea. You have an idea, but you don't know the tick that it's going to close at. If you hit sell on a down close or buy on an up close, as soon as it closes, it's going to fire the entry way faster than you can get it in. That's the best way to try to minimize slippage. Slippage is a variable that we don't have total control over, but this is a way that we can work to minimize it. Now, if you're willing to take the risk of losing the trade, you can configure the 1 tick pullback. And if it doesn't come back 1 tick in your favor and give you the 1 tick advantage, you won't get the fill. But that will totally obliterate slippage on the trade. That's the only thing that you can do. The other thing is get in early. But I wish I could tell you that this totally negated all slippage, but it's impossible. I mean, if you're trading long in the middle of the night and there are 150 people, traders who want to go, there's 150 contracts long and they're 25 short, you know you're going to get slippage. That's why you don't trade at night, because there's no liquidity. You have to trade in a liquid market, and there's nothing that's going to avoid taking slippage if you trade when there's no liquidity. You really want that bid-ask size to be the same so that everyone on one side is going to get filled from everyone on the other side. And the market's just moving too fast to determine it. But if there's nice volume, you're unlikely to get much slippage, if any. And if you get your order in early, it will help minimize that. You know what, Scott? I don't want, Scott, I'll be happy to do that for you, but I just don't want to do that because we're getting into trading technique rather than the NDT. And, you know, evaluating the wicks is really our trading methodology. And I just don't want to deviate because I'm already at 1 hour and 8 minutes. And if I start talking about that, tomorrow after trading in the room, just remind me and I'll go over all the, you know, all the configurations, okay? If you call us, Robert, we'll work it with you. Thank you, Scott. I have used the NDT on the DAX Mercedes, and let me tell you, the DAX is impossible. I still got slippage on the DAX. I'm going to be honest. I use the NDT on everything, and the DAX is a monster for slippage. Even though we got in early and we did everything we could, I mean, the DAX, you know, it moves like a freaking freight train. And that's the one market we both are avoiding because of the way it trades. It's got huge trade imbalances, and we're never going to get past it. So I did use it. The EMA is that's the standard setting. And inside it's a 7 right here. And that's really a 15 EMA. Thank you, Rian. I think you've got 2 or 3 days, Heinz, but only the first 5 are going to get the trading room, the 1 month in the trading room. And we already have 2. One cancel the other. You know what, Robert? I think Sergio would have to do that. That's a possibility. That's something that I think it can do. It can't do a bracket order, but it might be able to do an OCO order. Because I remember in the manual, I think that's a potential. I don't want you to take that as gospel yet until I have a chance to talk to Sergio. I just don't take those orders, so I don't know. But I will check that for you. Thank you, Vincent. Thank you. We're going to release, what we're going to do is next week when the NDT when the NDT for NinjaTrader 8 comes out, we're going to do an additional indicator on these dots. And that's when the 15 crosses the 50 with background bias. So it's going to be like a little bit of icing on the cake. Not only do you get the 15 cross, but when it crosses with background color, we're going to signal an alert. It doesn't do it often, but when it does, It's a really nice, like right here, it crosses with up bias. So that's what we're going to be looking to alert. And it's just going to take us a little bit of time. I mean, we're rocketing ahead with this so fast. Just stay with us and you'll get the full upgrade. Don't worry about that. Is the NDT locked? No, it's not, Bob. You can dial in any instrument you want. I mean, if you have, listen, some traders will use one NDT for 7 instruments. Others will use 7 NDTs that sit in the lower corner or up here. If you set it and then hit save, it'll open the same place on your chart every time you open it. So it's up to you. You can dial in as many instruments as you want, and you can change everything. Correct, but you don't have to put in a stop limit. If you want to put in a market or if you want to put in a stop, that's up to you. The trade configuration entry is totally at your discretion. And if you can put a market order in. And when you get that close to the upside, you're just going to get your best fill. So it's up to you how you want to configure the entry, Robert. Yes, it can, Robert. When it's initially opened, it's not assigned. You have to decide which instrument you want it to trade and then hit connect. When it initially opens, it's not assigned an instrument. I mean, it takes about 2 or 3 minutes in the morning. If you have 7 NDTs, you have to dial in the instrument that you want it to track and hit connect. Then you go to the next one. You dial in the instrument you want it to track and you hit connect. And you have to do that every morning. And that's our fail safe, is we don't want it to open in the morning all connected and inadvertently potentially trigger a trade. We want you to just go through this brief setup to make sure that you know which instrument you're connected to and that connection is sitting below the right chart. So when it's initially opens, if you open 7, they're not going to be assigned a chart. Exactly, Bob. It's in the control panel strategy of your right here. I only have 2 instruments, but if you go to strategies, I just enabled both. See, if I push them both in, they both come up. See how I put this one up here and saved? That's where it opened. It opened up here. Now, if I put it down here and I hit save setting, it's going to open down here. So all you have to do is just go enable, enable, enable. They'll all come up. They're going to come up under the chart you left them. And then you have to connect them one by one, which literally takes 60 seconds. Good, Scott. I'm glad. Thank you. Thank you, Robert. It's the semantics, Stephen. I mean, your broker's giving you that's a bag of hot air. I mean, he's telling you there's no such thing as slippage, and it's due to electronic matching, which is what slippage is. I mean, it's a mandate. I mean, if you're looking to buy the market and there are twice as many buyers as there are sellers, there's going to be half the traders looking to buy who are not going to get filled at the price they want. So really, he's just telling you the same thing. The only way to minimize that is to get in early in the queue or to configure the pullback. Like Mercedes, the one way to get rid of slippage on the DAX is to look for it to come back a tick. If you're lucky enough to get that tick back, if that thing rockets up 45 ticks, you're in it with a precision entry. It's worth a try. Listen, I know that, Stephen. That's why the DAX is such a challenge to trade. You know, when you look at the DAX at night or in the morning after it's traded, it looks like it has unbelievable entries. But when you trade it live, you can get 5 or 6 ticks of slippage, easy. So if you want to trade the DAX, the best way to do it is to take that 1 tick pullback. If you don't get into the trade, forget about it. Forget about it, as I say. But if you get the 1 tick pullback, it's going to fire out for you. I mean, I've never seen a market run like the DAX. It gives you the opportunity to get into a DAX trade with no slippage. No problem, Heinz. If I did, then it does it, Stephen. Believe me, I know it doesn't do a bracket order. I'm pretty sure it does an OCO order. Ken writes, I really love the NDT. It has made a huge difference in my trading, getting in where I want to. Occasional slippage, but that isn't the NDT. So thank you. And you take care, Robert. It's ready for release now. Great. You'll get it on NT7 immediately. I'm telling you, we're less than a week away on NT8. Yeah, thin volume. Yeah, exactly, Stephen. I mean the Russell too. I make some good moves, but on thin, you just can't trade a thinly. You just can't, in practicality, trade an instrument that just trades with thin volume because it's going to hurt you. That's why we're on right now on the E-mini and crude. Huge volume. I mean, today, reset at 415. There's huge volume on the E-mini, just gigantic. I know. The NQ is recently has been just as vicious as the DAX. 5 or 6 ticks. On Monday I had 8 ticks of slippage on the NQ, 2 points of slippage. But if you're lucky enough to get that 1 tick pullback, Mercedes, you got it. So listen, everyone, thank you so much for giving me your time. I really, really appreciate it. 9 ticks of slippage on gold, Steven says. I'm telling you, if you trade it, let me tell you, I'll just tell you really quick. I used to trade in the middle of the night. I had and this is like 2005, and I had a trade on gold, and it was like 4 ticks away from my stop. And all of a sudden I hear stop filled, and it never went there. And I called the broker, and he looked at the tape, and what the market makers did was pulled it down to my order, took my contracts, and then put it right back where it was. It was so fast it didn't even show on the chart, but the tape showed it came down to my price for a millisecond, took my stop out, and then proceeded on its merry way. So don't trade a thinly traded market. Thank you so much. I was mugged. You're right, Stephen. I was legally robbed, and I couldn't say anything because the tape showed it hit that price. So what could I say? All right, that's why I don't do that anymore. I'm not going to trade at 3 o'clock in the morning when gold has light volume. If it goes in your direction immediately, you're okay. But if it starts to approach your stop, don't be surprised if you hear stop filled, because the market makers are going to pull your stop out from under you. So listen, have a great afternoon, great evening. Thank you so much for your time. I believe this is a wonderful execution tool. And Sergio and Rory will show you exactly how to configure it, how to set it up. And I think once you trade with it, you'll never trade without it again. I will never trade without it. And I really do love it. So take care, have a great, and whatever you do, I wish you all the best of luck. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye. Thank you, guys. Thank you. We good?